Hello, hello. Welcome to our first public version of the Hop into Hobbying time. It's going to be a kind of a more chill version and a faster version, so we're going to see how this goes. This is my first time doing a live, so feel free to bear with me while I get through stuff. So the way I want this to work is I want to be able to actually have you go through part of the final video that's in the Hop into Your Hobby framework. So once you're actually able to find out what works best for you, what you're going to try and experiment with, then it comes actually doing the thing. And although we have a lot of different things to help you in there, both from like an automation, we have an entire like personalized bot for you that you make in 2 minutes that helps remind you without being annoying as heck, along with actual live automations, from doing calls like this to doing hyperfixation monthly spotlights where we all do hobbies, the same hobby together if we want to try out a new hobby. That's community accessed. It's a really fun time. But for today, I just want to take us through that final part of those 4 questions to ask before you start your hobby and do a small one together. So the issue is my hobbies have been a little bit scattered just because of life and been doing a lot of travel and a new relationship, all these fun things that are all worth it. However, I have skimmed on a lot of things. So because of that, I'm trying to start today's session for myself with no brain needed hobbies. If you're not sure what that is, I have a 3-part series on my TikTok and also inside of the hobby club to go more into that. But I know my brain just can't take on learning a new skill this time. So instead, I'm going to go with what I also need to keep accountable for, which is reading a dang book. I'm in a new book club that we're supposed to, I think, meet in a couple weeks, and I've done maybe 20 pages in a week. It's not good. So what I'm going to do is actually screen share some of the slides that comes from that final video of like asking yourself the questions before you start. And that way we can run through it together and then do a small mini session before I have to hop off. So let's dive in and let me screen share. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to screen share, and this is going to be, again, a new experience for both of us because I'm used to screen sharing on Zoom, but we shall persist. Hopefully you can see this. I'm going to do a quick check. Okay, you can. Perfect. So let's go into what I call the HELP. So this is the 4 questions you ask before you start your hobby, like that session for the day, whenever you decide to do it. Again, today is just kind of a short session, but it's really helpful to help you be mindful of what it is. So this was inspired actually from the $6 book that I found that was like one of those very actionable books that actually laid out a step-by-step process to getting back into your projects. The only issue was it was a little bit too, ironically, a little too long. And also I felt like it wasn't as tied to people who are switching hobbies a lot. It was more for those who are doing like writing a book, that kind of thing. So I altered it to help it be more for people like us. So the first thing in the H is how is your body? A physical check-in. So the reason why we're doing these first is because if we don't check these, we're going to either stop our hobbying early because we actually need to do these first. You know, if you've seen the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like the physical always comes first. The needs have to be met, like having to go to the bathroom, drinking water, food, that kind of stuff. So do a quick check for yourself. How do you feel like you need any food, water, or movement? For myself, I know I need some water. I could probably do for more rest, but maybe that's something where after this, when I'm more relaxed and feeling more accomplished, it'll be easier to go to sleep earlier. For food, I just ate. I feel rather full. And for movement, I could probably move more, but I'm not feeling antsy. Like a lot of these are, you know, for those extreme times when you're saying, oh, I really haven't taken care of myself. For the E, are you feeling clear-headed, carrying stress? Do you need a quick reset, brain dump? I could probably go for some journaling, so I might do that and potentially pull a card before I do some reading because I can tell, like, Sundays are normally my planning days and I haven't planned yet. Like, I'm doing this before the planning. My brain's just so used to the routine of, like, we plan today, but it's like, why are we doing this first? So I might jot down some couple quick to-dos to help my brain feel more relaxed, and a couple of, like, kind of things that I'm worried about, just have them pen to paper so my brain can take a step back and say, okay, they're somewhere. That's all that needs to be done first. And then I can move into the hobby before, you know, I figure everything out. Loose plan, which is, again, do you know what you want to do today? Even a big goal for me, it's going to be maybe trying to finish the chapter. I think there's like 15 more pages in here. Again, we don't have a long session today, but this is something that I just would love to get some more work done with. And then prepare for success. Do you have what you need? Which for me is going to be my reading. I do have a lo-fi station that I have behind this, and then a quick tutorial, obviously, for reading. I know how to read. And then Did You Do It will be at the end. So do a quick second for yourself, check yourself for these pieces, and then as we dive in, I'm going to stop screen sharing. And like I said, because I know for myself in that HELP, for me, the emotional part is still a little bit not feeling great. So I'm going to put on some cozy lo-fi vibes. If I can figure out how to do that down the road of like screen sharing what I'm putting on for music, amazing. But for now, I'm going to put that on the background. I'm going to write down, do a little bit of a journal dump. I might actually pull a card because I do love doing that for like setting my intention for the week, and then move into some reading. So the reading is my hobby for today, but I know for myself, my brain won't let me fully kind of dive into it if I don't address those first things. So I'm going to do this right here. You just can't see it because I'm using my computer screen. But whatever you're doing, even if you're watching the replay, let me know what you're deciding to do for your hobby down below. And if you decided to do H, E, or L before this too. Curious. I've never used this playlist before, but I'll put it in the chat in case you want to listen. I'm going to try it out. The issue for me with reading specifically prompts is playlists is that they can be a little too beat heavy. If it's too beat heavy, then I feel like my brain gets sucked into the beat. This even happened yesterday when I was at a movie. Like there was a kid who was talking right next to me, and I'm like, I can't focus on anything but the kid's voice. So I think lo-fi might not be the vibe, but in case someone likes a lo-fi, I'm gonna try and see. I really enjoy ones that are more like fireplace focused. So let me see if I can. Okay, I'm gonna do this one instead. Life change. This one I'm going to do instead, and it's a little bit more ambient, so there's less of that beat kind of thing that my brain kind of latches onto. So we're going to try that out. I'm going to put a timer on for myself. I'd love to figure out if I can do these things for you guys, but I'm going to put a timer on for myself for like 3 minutes just to write everything out that my brain's like buzzing about, so that way I can do that. I'll do a final check with the HELP and then dive into the book. So let's go in. Oh wait, I can just screen share my clock. Perfect. We're just trying to remember how computers work. Crazy. Okay. Hopefully it'll let you see my clock. We'll find out. Oh, perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna redo it and then press that. Amazing. Also, sorry for the worst water things like noise ever. This broke in half the straw for my heavy backpack, so by the next stream for sure it'll sound less like that. Okay, so I'm at 3 minutes. I'm gonna do another three because I can tell my brain kind of needs it. Because I was doing a little bit of free writing, just kind of what's coming up for me around time stuff, and then now it's about to get into to do some journal or some brain dumping. So do a final thing. I might actually end it early for the timer. So 1 second. So loud. Okay, so let me turn off Cozy Note for a second. Okay, perfect. So I wrote down a little bit less. I could do more. I probably should do more, but I still really want to make this stream be part of the actual hobby itself. This is kind of why I really enjoy this work because yes, I could have forced myself to go straight into reading, but I could tell for my body I was having anxiety. I could feel like the tightness and like my brain running. But if I were to try and be still to be the exact opposite of what my brain and body was doing right now, it wouldn't have worked. So having this journal piece was really, really helpful for me. And now, even though I'm like, I could write more, which obviously I could, but for now, I'm going to let that be, knowing that there's at least on the pen to paper and help my brain remember that. And I'm going to spend the rest of the next 15-ish minutes doing this part. I might come back and do a part two, maybe today. We'll see. I'm just testing this out to see if it feels good. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna keep doing my brain dump for a second because there's a little bit more I can feel. So let's continue. Again, I don't think it'll be for a full 3 minutes, but we'll try. I lost a card. Okay. Let's see. About to be done in a second. Okay, perfect. All right, so where I'm at now is I feel a lot more grounded, thankfully. And I feel like I'm at a place where I could do a solid 15-20 minutes of hobbying. I think it's something we get wrong often with hobbying, or especially for people who are neurodivergent, is thinking that we have to sit down for hours at a time. I do love that. I actually really enjoy doing deep work or deep focus work for my business. However, for hobbies, it's a little bit harder, I find. Like I can do about an hour and a half max, not because I don't want to do more of it, because my brain's like, we have other things to do. And sometimes you have to work with that. And similar to how people do meditation or going to the gym, the more like the more reps or attempts you try, it'll be easier to sustain the focus after. So instead of me trying to focus and say like, oh yeah, I'm going to be here for an hour, which kudos to those again. But that's just not where I'm at right now with my hobby. And it's part of the reason why I created the hobby club, is because it's not so much just about trying to do the thing, binge it all at once, where, the Netflix mentality. Instead, trying to find a way that works for you so that you leave not feeling more drained, but actually more accomplished by actually doing things that work for your brain. So now that I have done that and I feel pretty good, I'm going to read my book. I'm going to put a timer right now for 15 minutes, 10 minutes. And then from there add on. I think it's really important, and a hack you can always do is set your timer for a lot shorter than you think. So even though I want to do it for 15, 20 minutes, I know that if I put that up front, it'll make my brain be like, oh, 20 minutes, I don't know if I can do that. But 10 feels pretty easy. If you watch The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, you can do anything for 10 seconds. I don't know if you can do anything for 10 minutes, but it's easier and less intimidating to your brain than 20 or 15. So we're going to start with 10. If the timer goes off, we'll just re-add it, and that'll make our brain too be like, man, we're in such a good flow, we can add to it, So let's go into your hobby. You need to remember that help part as well, the HELP, see where you're at, and then dive in. Okay, 10 minutes have passed. I'm going to just do a quick look and see how many pages I have. A good amount. So that means I'm going to actually pause this for now. It's going to be family time for me, but I wanted to do this first attempt at a live stream to see how people liked it, honestly, how I liked it. And I think that this is something that, even though I do it mostly with hobby club members, I think it'd be nice to do every once in a while here, whether or not you actually do the hobby or you just need it for accountability. I think it's just something that will nonetheless get you more mindful of what your body needs, especially for people like us who are either so in our head or looking at a screen. We don't usually ask those questions like, what does our body need right now? Or how am I feeling beyond like stressed and sad and all the things. So hopefully this has brought some new attention to you, back to your own hobby, and has gotten me through a little bit more of the book that I keep needing to get through. And I'll see you either in the next video or the next live that I do here. If you want to join the club, I will put that in the chat below. As a heads up, I actually, the hobby club is sponsoring a free summit coming up next week. Depending on when you're watching this, this is July of 2025, and I'm just going to try and find the link I'm supposed to send you, because technically I'm supposed to send it tomorrow, so you're getting it a little bit early. Lucky you. So give me 1 second. This is only going to be, I think, open for the first 2 weeks. And then after that, it is going to be done. So on the off chance you see this by the 31st or 28th, then you'll be able to join and watch the free training that I do in it. If not, you can still watch something like this. It's not going to be actual intention, but or information. It's just more helping you be accountable in a little bit of a smaller way than the breadth that you get inside of the hobby club. So hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video.